Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, my Week 6 recap, guys. I'll be going through WNBA news, guys. Another extension on the way as far as the CBA goes. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the Liberty. They hired a new coach. We'll talk about that as well. Also, USA, Team USA, 3-on-3. They had their tournament already. We'll talk about that. Also, Team USA, as far as the 5-on-5 team, training camp starts in a couple of weeks. We'll talk about that. And then Brennan, I got to get into this. So we'll talk about that as well. Also, NBA Cup, we'll talk about the quarterfinals, and Eric Spoelstra also. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, it's your boy GD back with the All Things Basketball with GD podcast. And guys, we are entering week 7, so that means we have to recap week 6. We'll talk in this episode, because I'll have to break it up into 2. We'll do WNBA news. I got a bit of that. Also, I'll talk NBA Cup. Haven't really spoke about that, but the quarterfinals will be next week. So we'll give you a mini preview of that. And then we'll talk about Eric Spoelstra reaching a milestone. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So, guys, before I got on the air, I thought I was going to say there was no deal in place. But in the 11th hour, guys, they have made another extension. So now this is a 40-day extension. This will go right into the new year, first couple of weeks into the new year. So this gives them plenty of time, unlike the 30-day window that they had. And you know it was coming up against Thanksgiving, so you knew negotiations wouldn't get hammered out in time. So now you have the earlier part of December, they can hammer it out. Once you get to Christmas and New Year's, I'm sure nobody will be at the table negotiating. But coming out of the new year, you have about a week or so to work with to hammer something out. So it seems like, again, the sticking points is a fixed salary versus a revenue sharing base salary. So it seems like that's the tug of war that's going on between the players union and the owners. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. But a bit of good news. They're going to have the extension. So there you have it. So we'll see what happens as far as that goes. Let us continue. New York Liberty, they have found their coach, and they have hired Golden State Warriors assistant coach, Chris DeMarco. Now, Chris DeMarco, he was with the Warriors since 2012, working as a videographer, then eventually moving to the bench where he was an assistant. He is known for his defense and his player development as far as that goes. But Liberty has found their person. I said they had to make a splash here. I don't know if you call this a splash hire. And also, Chris DeMarco, let me not leave this out. He has been the men's coach for Team Bahamas. And he's been doing that since 2019. So take with that what you will. But he's known for player development and for his defense. Kind of in the same vein as the Chicago coach, Tyler Marsh. Take with that what you will. He gets the job over the likes of Phoenix Mercury assistant head coach Chris DeMarco, who I thought would have been a good hire. Brooklyn Nets assistant coach Will Weaver, and Toronto Raptors assistant coach Jama Malalela. So those are the coaches that general manager Jonathan Cobb, that's who he spoke to as far as interviews for the job. So this is your replacement for Sandy Brondello. And of course, a lot of the fans are saying, "Oh, you went the male coach route yet again, a male assistant coach from the NBA," which is a legitimate beef. So there you have it. We know they reached into the NBA to get a guy like Nate Tibbetts, so you can say with that, oh, look at the success he's had. So there you go. But I would say the GM for the Liberty, Jonathan Kolb, he's on watch, I would say, if I am Clara Wu Tsai, the owner for the New York Liberty, because you're now bringing in yet another head coach. He's hired quite a few head coaches in his tenure. So, and the thing was, and Sandy Brondello kind of made it known when she talked about her taking the Toronto job, that there was a disconnect between her and, the folks in the front office. So again, take with that what you will. But this is your hire now. So a lot of scrutiny now. He's going to be under tremendous pressure coming in here, replacing the likes of a Sandy Brondello, who kept his team amongst the elites during her time here, except all except one season. So he comes in under tremendous pressure. And so far on the contract, you only have Leonie Phoebish and Niera Sabali. So you only have two players on the contract. So will you be able to bring back a Sabrina Ionescu, who, oh, by the way, she reached out to Steph Curry to inquire about Chris DeMarco. So I guess she wants to find out what's what, so she can figure out what move she's going to make. So will she come back to the Liberty? Because she's a free agent. Also, you have a Breanna Stewart, who's a free agent. You have Jaquel Jones. She's a free agent as well. So his team could look very different once the season rolls around. But I think without any shadow of a doubt, you have to bring back Sabrina Ionescu. Yeah, just have to do it. It'll be nice to bring back Stewie as well, Jaquel as well. I'm going to make this. I think you won't be able to bring back all. I don't see all three coming back. I think it could be a case where someone, they won, they got their chip in New York, and they may go elsewhere. I think that could be a possibility amongst those three. I'm just grasping at straws here, but I think that could be a case. But it's early. We'll see what happens, but that's the way I'm calling it right now. But again, the coach coming in is going to be under a lot of pressure. I believe a tremendous amount of pressure will be on the GM, Jonathan Kolb. I'm just saying. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But Liberty, they hire their person, and it's Golden State Warriors assistant coach, Chris DeMarco. So there you have it. All right, so let us move on. Team USA, the 3-on-3 team, they just had a AmeriCup, a tournament in which they competed in. And on the team was Alyssa Gray of the Atlanta Dream, also Nas Hillman, also from the Atlanta Dream, Veronica Burton of the Golden State Valkyrie, and Shakira Austin of the Washington Mystics. So those ladies played, and the coach for them was Christina Battassini. That was the coach there, who also she coached on 2024 FIBA Nationals League, and she coached under 23 World Cup. Actually, she won gold as a coach. So you have a coach with plenty of experience here. And the managing director was Elena Deladon. I actually saw a clip of her talking to the ladies there, and she gave a very rousing speech to them. But Elena Deladon, it was good to see her involved in this. Of course, we know she just recently retired from the WNBA. Soon enough, Naismith will be calling and she'll be inducted into the Hall of Fame. But it was nice to see her in this kind of role with the 3-on-3 ball club. So also the men also competed as well. So they start out, they play Brazil first and then Jamaica, beat both of them, went 2-0, heading into the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals, they faced Argentina. They were able to make quick work of them. And then on to the semifinals where they played the Dominican Republic, beat them, setting up a finals between Canada. It was nip and tuck, guys, but it took Alicia Gray's free throws to ice the game for the Team USA. And thus they win the gold. So kudos all around to those ladies and the men who played their finals soon after. They won gold as well. So props all around for Team USA, both the men and the women winning gold. So that was, and I was able actually to watch the finals because it was on YouTube. So I was able to catch it. And those ladies put in work. They put in work. So congratulations to them on winning the gold for Team USA in 3-on-3 tournament in the AmeriCup that was played in Mexico. So there you have it. All right, let us move on. Team USA. They had their training camp, guys. They have their roster announced for training camp. Now, this is just for training camp, guys. So this is for them to try out, see who's going to stick, who won't. So and this is going to take place in Durham, North Carolina, very close to where Coach Carol Lawson, where she coaches Duke University. So very close to that area there. This way she can kind of do both at the same time because the tryouts are going to be December 12th to the 14th. And they invited 18 players, guys. And I'm going to name them all alphabetically. Lauren Betts of UCLA. Aaliyah Boston for the Indiana Fever. Cameron Brink of the Los Angeles Sparks. Paige Beckers of the Dallas Wings. Veronica Burton, who fresh off a gold medal, she's now going to these tryouts. Like I said, for Golden State Valkyrie. Sonia Centrone for the Washington Mystics. Caitlin Clark for the Indiana Fever. Kalia Copper for the Phoenix Mercury. Chelsea Gray for the Las Vegas Aces. Brittany Griner for the Atlanta Dream. De'Erica Hamby now for the Las Vegas, no, not Las Vegas, she used to be Los Angeles Sparks. But mind you, De'Erica Hamby, she competed in the 3-on-3 when they played the 3-on-3. So she's now getting invited with the 5-on-5 club. So there you have that. Kiki Ariafin with the Washington Mystics. Rakia Jackson with the Los Angeles Sparks. Brianna Jones with the Atlanta Dream. Kelsey Plum, also with the Los Angeles Sparks. Angel Reese with the Chicago Sky. Juju Watkins of USC. Remember, she's out with the knee injury, so this is just a formality as far as naming her. And then Jackie Young of the Las Vegas Aces. Missing, of course, is players like Asia Wilson, also Brianna Stewart, Nafisha Collier, even Alyssa Thomas. So you figure those players will come later on as far as that goes. So you definitely could see all four of those ladies joining this ball club, which will leave 8 spots open if that's the case among these 18 players. So there you go. But the big thing coming out of this, guys, is the ad that they had. Well, it's not really an ad, but it's like a photo where they had the list of players and then they had players that was on the picture. On the picture, guys, was Kelsey Plum, was Kalia Copper, and was Jackie Young. What do all three of them have in common? They played on the last Team USA who played in the Olympics. So you already have these ladies. They already are in uniform because they played already. So that was the photo ad for this tryout. But you have people like Christine Brennan. I've talked about her on the show, how I call her a chaos agent. She was a once respected journalist who covered, women's sports. She also covered men as well, but mostly international play, such as Olympics and those sort of things. So a bit of a trailblazer in the industry, if you will. But now she has resorted to just this mean girl narrative. And then also she's written a book, guys, talking about Caitlin Clark, her first year in the league. And it's just, I'm looking at the book right now. And on her game, Caitlin Clark and the revolution in women's basketball. So that's the book she wrote. So to me, I call it a money grab because she, like a lot of people, are making coin off the back of Caitlin Clark. So there you go with that. But I'm not going to detail what's in the book because if you feel like buying it, have at it. But it was a hit piece talking about the Olympics, how Caitlin Clark should have been there. I discussed it a million times why she shouldn't have been there. And I think if you spoke to her right now, she'll say she's glad she didn't make the squad because in that same year, she got the rest that she needed. I've chronicled this, guys. She got the rest that she needed during that Olympic break. When she got out of it, she's playing fine basketball and actually carried her ball club to the playoffs, which she did. So that rest actually did her good because remember, too, guys, she had been playing the October before the season began, with Iowa. So she had the long season with Iowa and had a bit of a break and then training camp. So she's right back at it. So, which she had a prolonged season thanks to that. So there you go. But getting back to this. So they promoted the training camp squad, and Christine Brennan went on Twitter, X, or whatever you want to call it, to express her disappointment. And here's what it said. This is so interesting. If USA Basketball really wanted to go all out promoting women's basketball, bring new fans in, and get unprecedented attention for a team that dropped in TV viewership at the Paris Olympics, they would have added the photo of one other player to this graphic, but no. So she continues. I covered the Olympics and U.S. sports national governing bodies for 40 plus years and plan to be covering them for many more. The NGB's mission is to win medals, but also grow its sport. USA Basketball utterly failed to grow women's basketball at the 2024 Olympics. This is a continuing story. So this is what she said about an ad that's for players trying out for the ball club. So she thinks it was wrong decision not to have Caitlin Clark in the ad for tryouts, mind you. Not for the ball club itself, just for tryouts. She thought that Caitlin Clark should have been in the photo. We're not even in 2028 and we already with the nonsense. We already with the nonsense as far as that goes. This is just an ad for the tryouts. This is for players that were on the squad before, and it just so happens they're there at the tryouts now. So these are players already has worn the red, white, and blue, representing the U.S. So what are we even talking about here? This is just an ad for the tryouts. And Christine Brennan will go crazy that Caitlin's not on there. It's all a process. They have to make the squad. Do I think Caitlin Clark will make the squad? Yes, I think she will make the squad. But to put her on prior to her not even making the squad, whereas these players already played on the squad and more likely than not, they'll be added again. What is going on? See, Christine Brennan's with the nonsense once again. Come on now. What? It's going to be, man, it's going to be a long 3 years before that happens. But, they'll have the World Cup where Team USA is competing. So there's that. Let the ladies try out. Let them, go through all the things. And then we get a squad and figure out who's on it. Why we have this division already? And the games aren't even being played. What are we doing? But again, Christine Brennan, a once respected journalist, is now a chaos agent. That's what she is. No more, no less. So, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm sure I'm not done with Christine Brennan. I'm sure she's going to go on X and say some other nonsense along the way. But Come on. We're not even at the Olympics. We're not even at the World Games or World Cup or whatever. And we already with the division. We're already with the nonsense because of chaos agent like Christine Brennan. So miss me with that. So that's all I'm going to say in that regard. All right. Let me leave it there before I get myself in trouble again. So, all right. So that was my little rant about that. All right. So that's all the women's news for now. Let us move on and cover a couple of NBA items, and then I'll save the rest for the part two. So, with that said, let's transition. Players of the week for week 6, guys. And it happens to be 2 guys who are former teammates. And ironically enough, they're stars with different teams now. Let's start with Captain Clutch, Jalen Brunson for my New York Knicks. What a week for Jalen. The team went 4-0. They beat Brooklyn on the road. They beat Charlotte on the road. Then at home, they played the Milwaukee Bucks. I'll get more into that in a minute. And they played Toronto as well. For the week, Jalen averaged nearly 29 points per game, 4.5 assists, 3 rebounds, guys. He shot it good from the field, 48% over that. You like that. From 3, over 40%. He was 11 for 47 from 3-point range. And then from the free throw line, out of 23 attempts, he made 20. So there you go. But Jalen Brunson, remember, guys, he's just a week removed from being sidelined with that ankle injury, but tough as nails. Again, Captain Clutch putting in work for the New York Knicks, giving them an undefeated week. So Jalen Brunson, your player of the week in the Eastern Conference. And then in the West, Luka Doncic for the Los Angeles Lakers. That team went 3-0 for the week. All home games, guys. They beat the LA Clippers. They beat the Dallas Mavericks. I'll talk more about that game. And then they beat the New Orleans Pelicans. For the week, Luka averaged over 37 points per game, over 10 assists per game, and almost 9 rebounds. He too shot it well from the field, 48.5%. From 3, he was deadly, 15 for 33. So you'll definitely take that. That's nearing 50% range. That's how good he was. And then from his free throw line, 36 attempts, he made 31. So you definitely take that. For the Red Hot Lakers, Luka, your player of the week in the Western Conference. All right, guys. So let us continue. Top stories. NBA Cup. Haven't really talked about it, guys, but they had it so where they was playing those games on a Friday. They had it scheduled for Fridays, guys. And your representatives in the East, on Tuesday, December 9th, you'll have the Knicks going up to Canada to face the Toronto Raptors, the surprising Toronto Raptors, guys. So they will face them in the first game, and then in the latter game, the Miami Heat will travel up the road to Orlando to face the Orlando Magic. Both of those, again, on Tuesday, December 9th. And then the following day, you have the Western Conference. The Phoenix Suns, another surprising team, guys. They'll be facing the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City. So that'll be the first game. And then your nightcap, the San Antonio Spurs will travel to LA to face the Lakers on Wednesday, December 10th. My predictions, guys, I'm going to say coming out of those quarterfinals, I'll pick the Knicks to beat Toronto. I just saw them just the other night beat them. So you'll probably get Jakob Poeltl back because he didn't play in that game. Not sure if RJ Barrett will be available, but we'll see. But I did like what they did in that game. It was competitive, but in the fourth quarter, the Knicks kind of put the wood to them. So I'm picking the Knicks in the first game. And then in that second game, Orlando got something happening there. So I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic beating the Miami Heat, thus setting up a bit of a grudge match so far this season. Orlando's had the New York Knicks number, so to see them in the semifinals will be good. I know that'll be very competitive given what they've done in the two games thus far against each other. So that's what I see as the semis there. And then in the West, I think OKC, they've been playing some ball. I'll talk about them probably in the other episode, but they've been balling, guys. So I'm picking them in the first game, and then I'm going Lakers. Lakers are red hot as well, and I say the Lakers will beat San Antonio Spurs, thus setting up your top teams in that conference there, the Thunder versus the Lakers in Vegas. So there you have it. All right, so that is it for the Cup news there. And then the last item I'll cover as of now, Eric Spoelstra. He becomes the 17th coach, guys, to reach 800 wins. And he does that, guys, on November 26th in a game versus the Milwaukee Bucks. They win that 106-103 in a game where Tyler Hero, his second game back, mind you, 29 points, 7 assists, and 5 rebounds for the win. But Eric Spoelstra, his record stands right now at 800 wins against 579 losses, which gives him a 58% win percentage. Eric Spoelstra, 2-time NBA champion, 4-time Eastern Conference champ. And that 58% win percentage, guys, only 8 coaches have a better winning percentage than Eric Spoelstra. That's Greg Popovich, Jerry Sloan, Pat Riley, George Karl, Doc Rivers, Phil Jackson, Rick Adelman, and, of course, Red Auerbach. So you talk about pretty lofty company that Eric Spoelstra's in. Future Hall of Famer in my eyes as far as coaching goes. Is just a matter of time before he gets inducted in. But reaching a milestone like 800 wins, I think that'll make him a definite shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. So congratulations to Coach Eric Spoelstra on reaching 800 wins. A dynamite milestone that Eric Spoelstra reached. So kudos to him. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for this episode. When I come back on the other side, I'll be talking about, of course, returns. There was a lot of guys who made returns back to the lineup, including Tyler Hero. I'll talk about him. Also, guys, injuries. We got a few to talk about, so we'll do that. Performances of the week. I have those as well, guys. And my first GD top 5 lists. The top 5 teams in the league. This is my first list of the season thus far. I figure about 20 games in, you can do that now. So I have my top 5. All right, guys. So just tune in and you'll hear all about it. All right, guys. All things basketball with gd.com is the website. There you'll find my clips, my full episodes. Also, guys, donate. I got a donate page on my website. And this is the time of year, guys. This is the time of year where you do the giving. So Giving Tuesday is coming up. So consider this show. I got 3 ways on my website: PayPal, buy me a coffee, and Spotify donate. Also in the scroll, you'll find my Cash App, $GD, that's sports dude. Again, $GD, that's sports dude. Also, guys, email the show, guys. All things basketball GD at outlook.com. There you can email the show, any comments, any things you like to hear about, all of that. Email the show, guys. All right. And then podcast platforms, I'm on all of those. YouTube channel, I got that as well. Also, guys, social media, Instagram, TikTok, some Blue Sky, some Facebook. That's it. All right, guys. So I'll see you back on the other side of this. And I thank you for listening. As always, your listenership is so important to the show. Much appreciated. And we'll talk soon. Take care.